I just want to have a quick conversation with Dutch Butters about
Meat.
Secret Level, which is Amazon's new kind of like anthology series where they basically create animated versions of like stories from well-loved video games. And I finished like the first round of episodes last night, and it's kind of a mixed bag. Some of them are pretty good, some of them not so good. I was kind of interested in the final episode that starred Keanu Reeves, which was kind of cool. It kind of reminded me of what he did in Cyberpunk 2077, something like that. But yeah, for the most part, the Unreal Tournament and the Warhammer 40K were the best, in my opinion. And the worst, without a doubt, was the Pac-Man one, unfortunately.
I totally agree. Yes.
Yeah. So, Dutch, what was your take on the Secret Level shows?
I'm pretty much right there where you are. I enjoyed most of them for the most point. The Pac-Man episode was just weird trash. I don't even get what they were trying to do. It was very strange. But how do you make a weird animated show about Pac-Man? I mean, I guess you can go to the Saturday morning cartoon that they did back in the day. But yeah, this was just some weird kind of modern sci-fi take. This guy had to go do some serious drugs or something and give us his version of Pac-Man after a ayahuasca trip, I think, or something. Man, it was completely out there. The Dungeons and Dragons episode, the first one, while it was interesting, you could tell that Wizards of the Coast had their little wokey fingers all plunged all over in that thing. But it was interesting. Didn't really like it a whole lot. But it is what it was. But the Sifu one was an interesting. It was short, but for never having played the game before, I thought it was a really well done story. I enjoyed the crap out of it. You'll pick up right on it really easy, even if you're not familiar with the lore about how it works.
This one, the New World one, was a pleasant surprise for me because it's basically a young Arnold Schwarzenegger doing like a parody of like Conan, King Conan type thing. But it was funny because like basically he plays this guy who's like it's his birthright to be king, and he crash lands or gets shipwrecked on an island where you become an immortal. And so every time he tries to become king, he just gets his ass kicked.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Dies. Yeah. If you're familiar with these games, then you'll understand these stories a little bit more. I'd never played that game, so it took me a second to figure out what was happening, but he's basically on an island. It's kind of like purgatory. You die, you get regenerated, and you start over again. So he has a long time to figure out what his life's going to be about while he's on that island. But it's good stuff. I enjoyed the crap out of it. But the highlight for me was absolutely the Unreal Tournament and the Warhammer 40K episodes. Those were just next level entertainment, man. And the Warhammer 40K one kind of like is the same character as that plays in the Warhammer Space Marine games. It's about Titus when he shows him when he's a kid and his master and stuff and how what they do there. It's probably one of the best animated things I've ever seen in my life, to be completely honest with you. It was pretty good. It's just incredible. And if you're a fan of 40K at all, you will lose your mind watching that episode because
are they like standalone stories? Like you could just watch one?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like Black Mirror.
Are you familiar with Love, Sex, and Robots?
I haven't seen it, but I'm aware of it.
Same people, same concept.
Okay. They take every episode is a different story.
Yeah, all these episodes, they're anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes long. They're all standalone, and they're all just set in different video game universes. And they're all most of them are really good so far. So
yeah, speaking of not good, Pac-Man: The Circle. This was the worst of the bunch, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had the second worst, in my opinion, which was Crossfire. I'd never heard of this game. It was a very boring episode, in my opinion. Like, it looked good, but like I just didn't care about what was happening. But the finale, which was Armored Core, and this is the one that Keanu Reeves starred in, I thought this one was really well done.
Mm-hmm.
So out of the 8 episodes, they had maybe like 2 misses and like maybe like, I don't know, 1 meh, which was the Dungeons and Dragons one. But overall, it's good, and they have like a second round coming out pretty soon. Is that right, Dutch?
That's right.
Yeah, I have one complaint. Why aren't the video games? I'm not saying Dungeons and Dragons and in Warhammer or not, but some of these games are not, they're not like top tier S tier games. There's so many games you can pick from, and they're picking games that we've never even heard of before. I'm confused.
I think it's a rights thing. I know that in the second round they have a Concord episode.
Yeah, that one's gonna go over well.
And that was a game that basically was like the biggest flop of the year, and like it just got canceled. It's a terrible.
So it's a rights issue, basically.
That's what I'm thinking.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.